Right, 7 beds. I think I need to stick some water up. Yeah, I don't think there's any perk reset, is there, without... Don't think there's a perk reset in this game. Because the philosophy is that I think if by level 178 you can get all the perks anyway. So the attitude was, well, you know, it doesn't matter because you can just, if you misspend a point, you can, you know, just keep leveling and eventually get everything. But yeah, there's definitely some perks that you might want to undo. Teed says I'm thinking of starting a cult and moving to a remote island somewhere like the Outer Hebrides. Mate, that is by far not the worst political plan I've heard this week. I think there's actually been some pretty mad suggestions, isn't there? Because right, I'm going to take that one out in case he's shooting at one of my guys.
Make you nervous, but I don't think we're...
But I'm sure... Yeah, I'm sure there's some island out in that part of Scotland where they identify as Scandinavian, because aren't they all descendants from Viking settlers or something? Because I'm pretty sure during the Scottish independence vote, they were like, well, if Scotland leaves the UK, fuck it. Uh-oh. Please get... Oh, don't you dare, you silly cow. Stupid bitch. Sorry. She's just stolen... I'm massively over encumbered and she's just stolen my bloody power armor. Sorry. Terrible manners. I can't even walk over to get it from her, and I'm like fucking over encumbered, so I'm gonna be like, my legs... I'm carrying ridiculous amount of stuff, and it's fine if I'm over cucumbered. Sorry, I just read that properly. Yeah, I am over cucumbered. So just getting over to it is going to be a deal. Come on, you silly cow, bring me back my XO1. I put in a lot of work to get that gear, so you can give it back.
I need you to get out of your power armor.
No, I need you to get out of my fucking power armor. That's why I take out the core every time, but in this mode I understand. Yeah, I'm carrying far too much shit around with me as usual. Let's have a look. Yeah, I picked up all of that water that I didn't fucking offload. See if Deacon...
What's the word? Loading up or loading off?
It's my sexy pimp outfit. Jesus, what am I weighed down with? Oh, yeah, there you go. I might be able to solve some of my problems right now. Ah, the dock is here. You know what? I'm going to scrap up some of this crap. And that will solve a lot of my problems right here. This really is. This is definitely the episode where the NPCs are just being dicks. Right, what am I going to get for that? Because I think that's actually a pretty good settler gun.
Hey.
What you need? Let's see what I got in my pockets.
I do like this guy. Is it Doc Weathers?
Dangerous world out there. Good thing too.
He's just
Like no
so
business
obviously
to
not a
right?
fucking doctor.
Could use some supplies, actually.
You got the caps, I got the goods.
Antibiotics. I'll need those for my bed shagging activities. Psycho. That's always a guaranteed buy. See how much water I've got. Yeah, the I've kind of become used to the NPCs in Fallout, but bloody hell, sometimes they can be difficult, to say the fucking least. You know what? I'm gonna buy all of his stim packs off him just because stim packs are 1/10 the weight of water. So I'll take a conversion loss, but
Too many miles on the road. At least the pay is terrible.
right, who's my scrapping lady? There she is. Right, because she's actually doing some serious work. She's gonna get some new fucking
I just want
toys.
to trade a few things.
Okay.
See you shortly, Ahmed. See if I've got some nice clothes for her as she's doing some actual fucking work. Better than nothing. Go and see where the rest of these attackers are. See if they're carrying anything worth a shit. And I think I'm going to go for a proper lie down. And then head off in the early morning. Ah, there you are. Blown to kingdom fucking come. Heed says, have you heard of Jonathan Pye? His delivery reminds me of your videos. Jonathan Pye? No, what do I... The name rings a vague bell, but I can't place him. I mean, needless to say, I'm going to immediately Google that.
She had more courage than sense.
And hope I'm not mortified. Right, fuck it. That's enough for now. I need a proper tactical nap. Right, I'm gonna sleep all the way through. Quickly Google Jonathan Pye.
We're back in business.
And someone's going to try and nick my armor again. Motherfucker, stay away from my fucking armor.
Find him!
See, I knew someone was trying to fight their way into my fucking armor. And I'm... Oh, fucking Jesus Christ!
Go whole days without massacring a bunch of people. Honest.
This complete base of bloody thieves. I will. I just spotted him actually. I think I've seen him before. I will definitely be watching some of this later. Don't they still jump into it if there's a core in there though? Or has that been? There's that patch now. I will take the core out now. I've been told. I just didn't think that it could happen twice in 2 sleeps. So that's it. They really deserve to be sent somewhere unpleasant, but she's female, so she gets a free pass as part of my empire. Right, it concerns me that I've got 0 defense, which means they must have fucked my gun turrets. Yes. Yeah, this is just 2 gun turrets to protect this place is a bit of a fucking joke, but fuck it, we're busy. We got work to do. Right, let's take a look at the map. We have settlers to murder. Right, bear with me. Right, it's going to get exciting, but I think we're going to go by the shortest available route, which is down one of these roads. Yeah, this is it. I never actually used to like the sort of relatively recent implementation of in a lot of games where they've just decided survival means no fast travel, but it's really grown on me because you do really have to engage in the game environment and learn where the fuck things are and learn where everything is. So it's definitely one of those implementations that I was not a fan of at first, but now I think is a great thing. No fast travel, just forces you into the world. T's just saying that one of the things he hates is the repair things in bases. Yeah, I actually agree there. I think they've done something to slightly improve the situation, but I do know that I played this one playthrough and there was one obscure thing broken at one of my bases. It was probably some plant or something in the corner that was there when I arrived, and I could never fucking find the damn thing, and the entire game I had this flashing warning and it just was not funny. Just every time I went anywhere, it was like this in the top right or walked into any of my bases, it would give me this warning that there's stuff at your base that needs to be repaired. And it's like, yeah, I do know that now, after being told a million fucking times. But it seems to have chilled a little bit, but they could do with some kind of highlight option so you can flag up stuff more readily. Oh man, that's going to weigh a fucking ton, but oil is oil.
I'm a sucker for those old world books. It must have been something living back then.
Ah, aluminium. Zoo fishing, I walk most of the map as well. Only fast travel back to settlements to dump my junk. One of the best parts of the game. Yeah, I really didn't fancy the idea of no fast travel, but now it's here. It's like you just see more of the actual bloody game. It's a very, very easy trap to fall into. Just literally just zipping around using fast travel. You know, there's areas of the map that you might never see because once you've unlocked the fast travel point, you're just gonna fast travel, you know, between certain points of the map and never have to walk them. Teed says plants, they're the worst. All it needs is a UI to highlight the damaged item like it does when you get the perk. There's a perk that shows items you're searching for by putting a glow around it. Just use that. That's a good idea, actually. Make them more visually identifiable. Or even add it to the bloody base computer. Because obviously you've got that base computer that tells you what your settlers are doing. But yeah, this is it here. If you see the way that highlights when I get close, that's the advanced scrapping perk.
On a valuable salvage. You'll break your back carrying worthless scrap.
That is the 5mm chain gun, I think, of a very big Assaultron. And I don't want any part of that fucking action. Thank you very much. But yeah, it needs to do with a way of managing that. I mean, the way I have kind of got around that is I make sure everything in my that base is organised around that principle, if you know what I mean. I just make sure that all my plants are on those little planting grow bag things. I structure my entire base around the sort of a standardized idea of where everything will be, so that, you know, if there is a random item that is broken and I can't fix it, at least I can systematically go around and search for it. Do fishing. I've got more legendary items from going back through those areas after some have respawned. Yeah, exactly. It just forces you back into areas, forces you to learn your sense of direction. I really appreciate the map design more now that I'm actually walking it, as opposed to just viewing it once and then fast travelling it. I'm going to box around here.
And they're off. Iron Maiden's out to an early lead, but Beastie Jones right behind.
Ah, this is that robot base.
It's neck and neck. This is one hell of a
Something
race.
Downs. The Easy City Downs or something. Yeah, we might actually have to do a bit of repairing at Zuzu's because I think it got attacked, but it might have successfully defended itself.
We got some fine bots in this race. Odds your uncle is coming up fast. Atomic Dreams is still hanging.
I always take the Pompadour wigs. The nicest way I can put it is, let's just say some of the women at the brothel get to use a hair wash. And one good way around that is just give them a pompadour wig. This is good. I've actually got Minutemen turning up now, knocking around my base.
Hi, how are you?
Might have to do a controlled demolition on that car. Anyway, let's see how Zuzu's doing. Right, before I forget.
What's mine is yours, pal.
I hope I can do this without fucking it up. I've got 3 attempts. Oh, what is the command? Go into build mode. Build mode. Select. That's the winner. Right, now we got it. Now I've got it.
I ever tell you about the time I was in Capital Wasteland? Now there's a tale.
Now theoretically, these won't move now once they're placed. If you just manhandle them, I think you can kick them over, whereas, oh yeah, they still fucking move, you know. Never mind, we'll see how they last. But I'm going to just reposition that one last time, because it might mean NPCs can't move them. Right, how are we doing here? I think we're doing alright actually. This base seems to be okay. Right, let's see what we got. 150 bottle caps, 10 water. 10 water? Fucking hell. That means some people are helping themselves to my water supply somewhere. Yeah, I definitely learned. Thanks, useless shop guy who won't sell to me. I definitely learned a lesson here about quickly setting places up, throwing down a recruitment beacon and moving on, which is I've created a lot of bases that are sucking food and water out of the general supply chain. I should have probably built the base and then only built the recruitment beacon when it was finished. But you know, it's Fallout, you learn stuff every time. Anyway, let's build a clothes store and put that girl on it. It does concern me though that that's 2 bases now where I've got issues with NPCs that won't interact with me, and you know, vendors that won't interact with me. So I might have to take an actual serious look into how to get around that bug. Then again, what's the time? Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. Right, I might do a tactical aid snap. Yeah, that makes me wonder whether I need to do a repair on the game or something, but...
I just want to trade a few things.
Of course.
Give it another try.
Got it.
T says what's everyone's expectations of Fallout 76. I have reservations. And Sea Fishing says I have the same problem at the boathouse. I had to put shops in a new area for it to work. Ah, shit. Taffington Boathouse. Funny, the second you said that, I suddenly realised that yeah, there's issues with Hangman's, isn't there? Because there's two areas. The game treats half of Hangman's as the actual base.
Got a dangerous look about you. Hope you ain't here for me. You hear about that farm run by ghouls?
Oh, fucking Jesus.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, neither of them will interact with me. But yeah, there's certainly with Hangman's, the build area is bigger than the actual base. So you can build all you like on Hangman's, like right round the corner. But NPCs will only behave like they're in a base in half of the actual base. Yeah, I might have to do some research here. Thank you, Zoofish, and you give me an idea now of where I can actually do my research for sorting this out. But yeah, it's not, if it's one or two bases, it's not the end of the world. You know, it's a bug I can put up with. But you know, like this, now I've gone between two bases that both have the same problem, and now have the same issue, and now it's a fucking problem for me because now I'm packing a ton of crap that I can't get rid of. That I actually need to fucking sell. So yeah, I would say it's becoming a bloody problem.
Hey.
What can I get you?
Right, this one works. Maybe it's a fucking height thing as well.
I just want to trade a few things.
Go ahead.
I built a nice pier over the lake and they don't respond. Yeah, I'm wondering whether there's
You look like someone that needs a drink.
I'll take a look. Sure.
safe and non-safe areas. I'm actually going to make a note to look that up. Thank you very much, Sue. I think you might have cracked it there, that there's going to be certain areas that are good and certain areas that ain't. Yeah, it is worth noting that this game does sometimes change its performance quite drastically based on the current patch. I mean, I've recently on PC got quite a significant drop in performance actually that I never had before. Tarbury. But yeah, under the current patch, I'm getting lower frames than normal and stuff like that. And I was previously getting better graphics performance, but you know, it could be an Nvidia patch. But yeah, Fallout 76. Sue Fishing shot the non-compliant people, and that was the end of it. A touch extreme, but I can entirely sympathise with why you would do it. It's very frustrating building an entire base and then not being able to bloody sell your crap.
Back to Diamond City one of these days. Biggest town I ever saw.
But yeah, I mean, what am I going to do with this base? I mean, theoretically, I could pick the whole thing up. For those of you who don't know, if you click, you go into build mode and click one item, you can pick up that one item. But if you hold down the select, you can pick up the entire base. So theoretically, I could pick up the whole base and move it over here and see if that makes a difference. But it's very fickle. You know, sometimes you pick up an entire base and go to move it somewhere and it just refuses to play ball. So yeah, we'll see. See if there's anything I can... Just going to do a controlled explosion on that vehicle. But yeah, I think it could be exactly what you said there, mate, you know. Aging FPS, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you. As usual, I'm aggroing the entire Commonwealth. But yeah, Fallout. Funny, someone just asked about. T just asked about Fallout 76. As you know, Buzz, how you doing? The Welf who keeps following me. That is Deacon, wherever he's gone. And Deacon actually did something more constructive than get his arse shot in a fight earlier, which is pretty impressive for Deacon, who is thus far proved to be largely fucking useless. But yeah, Fallout 76. I'm trying to remain very enthusiastic about Fallout 76, but I won't lie. There was a moment today where I did think, you know what? As much as I love Bethesda, and I've always held them up as, you know, shining example of a gaming company and all the rest of it. There's two things that made me think, you know, am I being a bit naive here? And that was one, their phone app, Fallout Shelter, which is just an out-and-out phone app. You know, they were like, hey, let's turn Fallout into a phone app. And it is exactly what you would expect from a bloody phone app. You know, it is just a progress-gated, bloody money-spinning phone app like any other. And the other thing was the way that they monetized the mods. What do they call it? I can never remember the name of it, but they've got their own in-game mod store now. Death Fingers, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you. T just mentioned 76, and I was putting my tuppence worth in. This person doesn't look very well.
You unbelievable bastard.
She doesn't look very well. Still, free gun's a free gun. But yeah, the whatever it's called, the Creation Club, which is basically them cashing in on the modding community, because Fallout has got like the best modding community in the history of bloody gaming, practically. I mean, that's just a bit of a risky thing to say, because I'm sure the Skyrim community would claim that mantle as well. But basically, it's a community that does fantastic work with modding, and Bethesda were like, oh yeah, this is a way for people who do mods to make money. But the reality was it wasn't. It was just a way for them to try and make money out of people's mods, and most importantly, make money out of their own mods. And it was just fucking microtransactions. So, you know, with those two things in mind, I am starting to go a little bit more wised up on Bethesda, that maybe they might be changing as a company. But today I watched a couple of videos on Fallout 76, and you know what? My honest reaction was, I looked at it, and it just looks like that they're trying to bolt Fallout Shelter, the mobile phone app, and The Division together. That's how I looked at all of this stuff with them, these clipped together interviews and the information they've released. And honestly, there's a bit of me, and I looked at 76 and just thought, you know what? I think this could be as cynical as it fucking appears to be. They're just taking a phone app and The Division and trying to do a Fallout 4 bolt together you know, and when they're coming out with catchphrases like, it's all free as long as people keep buying microtransactions. It's just like, what the fuck? I was just thinking, oh Christ, I've heard these mantras before. So yeah, I'm going to try and remain enthusiastic. I'm going to try and keep open-minded. But yeah, if it turns out to be the cynical fucking cash grab that I think it's probably going to turn into, I won't be losing any sleep. Yeah, it's got a lot of red flags. Glad to hear you well, by the way, FPS. I'm just looking back for the comments. I'm great, Death Fingers. I've been suffering a little bit in the heat, but I've decided to put my man pants on and just crack on. But thank you for asking. Teach says the whole gaming industry is making me sad. No real games I'm excited about. I know the Division 2 will disappoint. I have no faith in EA for Anthem. I need a new hobby. Buzz says, I tried playing this game using knives only and it was crazy. I'd pop a speed kill or whatever and it was before combat and went in like Rambo versus the mobs. You can in Fallout 4. It's one of the... People often criticise Fallout 4, but it is, I think, probably the best Fallout. I might die on this bit, by the way. The best Fallout for melee builds. You can actually just melee in this game if you invest all of the perks into it. I would say it's probably a late game thing. You want to completely spec into it, as you know, store up some perk points and then just completely spend them in all of the serious melee perks. But you can very effectively do it. In fact, I've experimented with some of them, and I never play melee characters. But is it Blitz or something where you can very quickly close the distance and do a very powerful attack? And sometimes I found myself switching to my melee weapon because it was actually more efficient than trying to actually trade gunfire with certain characters if they're partially concealed. But yeah, there's FPS just says gaming industry is in a sorry state. Really? Yeah, shit. How can I get out of here without drowning? 1 second. Yeah, I'm getting fucking cooked here by rads. Yeah, I have to qualify because there's Bethesda and then there's Bethesda Game Studios, and Bethesda make the games and Bethesda Game Studios do the publishing. Like I'm pretty sure with Prey, was it Bethesda Game Studios published that game, but it was actually made by some other studio. I'm not sure, but anyway. So, you know, there's some clarification there because Todd Howard obviously works for one Bethesda company and he doesn't work for the other one. And I can never bloody remember which one it is. So, yeah, it's very easy to use Bethesda as a catch-all term. But that said, if they weren't all in on the same business plan, they wouldn't be doing business with each other. But I am becoming mindful now that I used to blindly support Bethesda, and I'm not sure that's such a great position. I'm not taking anything for granted anymore. I'm going to be critical on 76. I'm going to play it. I'm going to hope to be surprised, but I say the very fact that they're very publicly bragging about the game as a live service, you know, they're kind of putting that forward as a selling point. And Patrick, how you doing? I mean, I'm going to put this in a video, but I mean, in brief, I mean, one of the reasons I'm so allergic to these live service philosophies is that if you actually read where this is all heading and read up about the copyrights that people are doing, games as a live service is ultimately moving towards something that's very all-encompassing. And it's not just about, you know, the game's free and you can buy pretty shirts. That's not what games as a live service is ultimately all about. If you look at the copyrights that people are taking out, the whole idea of games as a live service is manipulating your entire gaming experience to unconsciously and subconsciously convince you to buy microtransactions, even down to the level of linking in-game loot algorithms with microtransactions, so that when people who buy microtransactions will have better luck in their in-game loot for X amount of in-game hours. So, you know, ultimately you don't realise you're being manipulated, but you go and spend £5 in the in-game store and then you're more likely to get a house. You know, I'm just throwing that out there as an example, but that is the kind of technologies that they're copywriting at the moment, and that's ultimately where live service will go. You won't consciously be aware of a lot of what's going on, but unconsciously your lizard brain is being manipulated into basically you know, learning the lesson that you have a better time when you put your hand in your pocket, and you might not be consciously aware why. It's like I can't say whether this is true or not, but I do know there was a debate about a specific game I'm not going to mention where people were becoming suspicious that if you bought a new weapon skin, your weapon did slightly more damage for 10 hours. That was this argument. And I don't know whether or not it was true, so I'm not going to name the game. But I do know that these kind of technologies are being copyrighted. So that's why I think live games as a live service is so insidious, because ultimately it's about, we all pay say £40 for a game, but if you don't pay for microtransactions, you have a more shit time than the player next to you who's got his hand in his pocket. And if that sort of, you know, those kind of video games have got zero interest in playing. Sorry for jumping on the soapbox there, but you know, when people say, "Oh, games as a live service, it's really innocent. It's just about, you know, it's just about cosmetics, and you can decide not to buy stuff." It's like, no, that is absolutely not why people are spending millions on psychologists and marketeers on games as a live service. If it's just about cosmetics, they'd be spending all of the money on artists to design pretty gun skins. But they pay so much money to psychologists and neurologists and people who are experts in manipulating behaviour, because it's the entire show is about basically persuading people to unconsciously part with their money. Let's catch up. Aqua Boy is a great perk. Just gotta figure out where. Ah, here's the railroad. Glad to see you, Patrick. Just catching up with Teed's comment. Hey, Carbucci. Yeah, it's pick up on Zeus. Zeus says there's certain catchphrases now, that certain defences that as soon as you hear them, they themselves are an alarm bell. You know, and it's like, it's not pay to win. It's only cosmetics. You know, it's like, well, we all know what those kind of defences are associated with. Yeah, I mean, I'm very careful what I say, because I don't like to say stuff that I can't back up with evidence. But I'm convinced that there is backdoor manipulation now to people's performance, and I think that it's not pay to win is becoming a very grey area. Because people will say that not pay to win means, oh, you can't go out and buy a better gun. But no one discusses what happens if what happens if
Carrington
they
wants to talk with you.
give you better luck in game or better RNG in combat without telling you about it every time you know, for an hour every time you spend a little bit of money? You know, you're never even going to know about that. Unconsciously, you'll learn the lesson, though. I won't read that out, Gampucci, but they, like I said, they're not spending all this money on experts in manipulating purchasing behaviour if it was all up front and legit. But yeah, it's
Would it kill them to let me know mission specs before the?
I don't think it's over though, because I mean I'm going to say it's over. I mean gaming as an gaming as an activity, because there's still companies like Warhorse who, you know, they define their brand as not being into this shit.
Interface to 100%. Good evening, Agent. My data indicates Mercer's safe house has been established. Reward dispensed. Further help is required. I have the location of a Black Ops cache. It contains supplies our organization needs.